Hi, welcome to Module 1 Personal Development, in our first topic, which is self awareness. This topic focuses on self awareness, defined as the conscious knowledge of one's own character, feelings, motives, and desires. It is also the ability to focus on yourself and how your actions, thoughts, or emotions do or don't align with your internal standards. If you're highly self aware, you can objectively evaluate yourself, manage your emotions, align your behavior with your values, and understand correctly how others perceive you. Put it simply, those who are highly self aware can interpret their actions, feelings, and thoughts objectively. It's a rare skill, as many of us spiral into emotional driven interpretations of our circumstances. Developing self awareness is important because it allows leaders to assess their growth and effectiveness and change course where necessary. There are two types of self awareness: public self awareness, where we are aware of how others perceive us, and private self awareness, where we understand our inner feelings and standards. Why is self awareness important? Being self aware allows us to clarify our values, thoughts, and feelings, recognize our strengths and weaknesses, and make better decisions. Self aware individuals are often more confident, creative, and effective in communication, leading to more career satisfaction and stronger relationships. Some benefits of self awareness are: it gives us the power to influence outcomes, it helps us to become better decision makers, it gives us more self confidence, so as a result, we communicate with clarity and intention. It allows us to understand things from multiple perspectives. It frees us from our assumptions and biases. It helps us build better relationships. It gives us a greater ability to regulate our emotions, and it makes us happier. If you want to know how self aware you are, the INLP Center has 12 multiple choice questions that will tell you the level of your self awareness and what you can do to improve it. Another test is the Values and Actions Inventory of Strengths via IS. It is a great tool for you to use to identify your dominant strengths and it's free on the VIA website. It measures your answers across six broad categories with a total of 24 strengths. Take the assessments, and you'll generate a report identifying your top 5 strengths and how to begin to optimize them. These assessments are research based and help highlight personal strengths and areas to enhance, though they're not scientific or clinical evaluations. In order to become more self aware, you can visualize the best version of yourself. Ideal self reflect our hopes, dreams, aspirations, and speak to our skills, abilities, achievements, and accomplishments that we wish to attain. As you lean into your strengths to become the better version of yourself, you can use this idealized self to keep moving in the right direction and not be distracted by setbacks and other obstacles. Self reflect. However, the URIC group contends that most people are going about reflection in the wrong way. The truth is, we ask ourselves the wrong questions. In our attempt to resolve internal conflict, we ask why. Yet, there is no way to answer that question since we don't have access to our unconscious. Instead, we make up answers that we may not be accurate. The danger of why question is that it sends us down the rabbit hole of our negative thoughts. We focus on our weaknesses and insecurities. For example, consider Amy, a new junior executive who has difficulty speaking up at meetings. She may explain her experience to herself by thinking, I don't speak up at meetings because I fall too low on the corporate food chain. No one's going to listen to me. Asking the what questions put us into the objective and open space of considering all the factors influencing a particular outcome. For example, instead of why don't I speak up at meetings, we can ask, what were the interpersonal dynamics in the room? What was I experiencing in my body at the time? What happened that caused me to go into my old story of not being good enough? What can I do to overcome my fear of speaking up? This kind of introspection allows us to look at behaviors and beliefs for what they are. With self awareness, we can examine old patterns and stories that do not serve us, and then we can move on. Asking the right questions empowers us to make different choices that bring different results. Amy decides to make a plan because now she understands that she has a chance at overcoming her problem. She's going to find out more about the content and goals of an upcoming meeting to become more confident in how she can contribute. Rather than being consumed by imagining what others is thinking about her, she'll actively listen for cues to ask meaningful questions that move the conversation forward. With heightened awareness of the cues her body is giving her, signaling fear and anxiety, she'll name the emotion at the moment and choose not to be overwhelmed by it. One giant step to self awareness. Strengthen your brain. The amygdala, also called the primitive brain, was the first part of the brain to develop in humans. It functioned as a kind of radar signaling the need to run away or fight back. That part of the brain is skilled at anticipating danger and reacts before we can even name a negative emotion. Our heart races, our stomach tightens, and our neck muscles tense up. Your body's reaction is the tip wire signaling the prefrontal cortex to register or name a negative emotion. If you bring awareness to your physical state, you can at the moment recognize the emotion as it's happening. Becoming skillful at this rewires your brain. Naming your feelings is critical in decision making. When we let our feelings overwhelm us, we can make bad decisions with unintended consequences. Naming your emotions allows us to take a third person perspective to stand back and more objectively evaluate what's going on. Ask others about their perception of you. Others' perceptions matter to see how someone outside of yourself sees you. Lastly, journaling is an effective way to track progress and recognize patterns in your thoughts and behaviors. You can use prompts like what did I do well today? What challenges did I face? How did I respond? And how would I have I responded differently in retrospect? What strengths did I use? And what's my intention for tomorrow? Reflecting on these questions helps reinforce self awareness, enabling you to align your actions with your values for a more fulfilling life. So, we recommend that you find a new journal and start writing answers to all these questions to become more self aware. Please give us feedback about our topic. Thank you for your attention and stay tuned for the next topic. The next topic is discovering our strengths and weaknesses.